My conversation, which is all about being a superhero. And I do want to start out and just let every one of you know that's tuning in that you are not mediocre. So I think that means Dory might never have a role for you, but you are a superhero that is capable of doing anything that you set your mind to. And hopefully, during the next few minutes, I will show you how you can unlock your superhero capabilities to follow your passion and to authentically be yourself and let that work for you, whether it's in the workplace or at home with your family or with friends. So let me start out with a story. You see, when I was younger, I watched a TV show one day that had two women superheroes on it, and they were called Electra Woman and Dyna Girl, if there's anybody that's ever seen this show. Now, Electra Woman and Dyna Girl seemed like regular women to me. They were superheroes. They saved the day continuously. So I turned the show off, went to my mom and asked her for a cape so I too could be a superhero. She made me one. And for the next few years, I was a superhero. I wore the cape everywhere. And it eliminated any fear that I had in doing anything. I tried new things. I talked to people. I made friends in the neighborhood. I even ate beets, which to this day I still don't like, but I tried them. I wasn't afraid because I felt that I was a superhero like all women in the world were. And one day I went to a restaurant with my cape on and noticed everybody looking at me. And I didn't think they were looking at me wondering, why is this young girl wearing a cape out to a restaurant? I knew they were looking at me because they were wondering how they could also be superheroes and where they could get a cape as amazing as mine. Even at night, I would start at one end of the house and run all the way down the hallway, turn right and jump into my bed because I knew that someday my cape was going to give me the ability to fly because that's what superheroes do. So one day I was wearing my superhero cape out riding bikes with friends, and I put on my most beautiful princess dress because that's what superheroes wear. And while I was out there having a good time, the worst thing in the world happened to me. One of the neighbors looked at me and asked me why in the world I was dressed like I was, riding bikes. And I said, why? What do you mean? I'm just in my superhero outfit. I'm a superhero. And he explained to me that girls, A, don't ride bikes. B, they don't wear their pajamas outside to ride bikes. And C, they don't wear pajamas that have green frogs on them. It was the first time that somebody made a comment to me that made me care about what somebody else thought about me, that I couldn't just brush off. And I was crushed. I went home, took off the frog nightgown, put it away, took the cape off, went to sleep, and the next day, my superpowers were gone. I woke up as a mediocre, normal person. I started to be concerned about acting and being like something that other people would love. I stopped talking to as many people. I was a little more anxious and shy at school. I stopped trying new things. I just did things that I thought were safe to me. And every choice I made in the way that I looked and dressed and acted was not based on who I was as a person. It was based on who I thought other people wanted me to be. I fell into the trap that so many of us do, especially at a young age. But you know what? I grew up that way, and it wasn't that bad. I graduated with an undergraduate degree. I got my master's degree in teaching because my passion is inspiring others. And I looked for my first teaching job. I had a master's degree, a small apartment, a great boyfriend, a wonderful set of friends, a puppy dog. What else could you ask for? I looked for the perfect teaching job for months. I couldn't find one. I wanted to be in the right school with the right classroom so that everybody would be proud of me and they would know that I accomplished what I achieved and set out to do. But after a few months, where my dad had to write me a check so that I could do my laundry and buy food, I realized trying to be like everybody else, trying to get the best job, trying to live up to other expectations was not going to allow me to eat or dress very well soon. So I took a deep breath And I looked inside me and figured out, what else would I do? I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to inspire people, but now I needed to pay the bills. So I found a job at a retail company as a call center rep, making $5 an hour, which is not that much, and it wasn't that much at the time. And it wasn't really what I wanted to do. It wasn't what I thought people would be proud of. I actually didn't tell people what my job was because I didn't want them to feel bad for me or to look at me differently. But the moment that I hung up that old landline phone from accepting the job, I didn't know it, but my superpowers came back, because now, stripped away from me was the ability to hide behind a mask of being somebody that I wasn't, trying to do something that I wasn't sure I wanted to do, or even finding my way to impress others. Now I was living a life of necessity. I was doing something that I needed to do to pay the bills. And I was so surprised after the first few months to find out that I actually loved it. I enjoyed helping people. I enjoyed being a call center representative, helping people with their finances, helping people get additional credit, helping them return items that didn't fit. It made me happy to go home and know that I was improving somebody else's life. And I continued to move up in the company. It was insane. A girl with a master's in teaching and absolutely zero business marketing experience, no MBA, had gotten 4 promotions at a very large retailer in the course of 4 years, ending up being the liaison to the board of directors and sharing reports and insights about trends within the company as it related to customer satisfaction and business operations. Like, how does that happen? So I started to take a step back and think to myself, how am I finding myself in this position that I never thought in a million years I would want, at a company I never imagined that I would work for, and looking into a world through a completely different angle? And when I stepped back, it brought me back to my superhero days. I realized that I was doing one simple thing. I was breathing air. And air gives you the ability to be a superhero. You see, air does not mean the air around us, although it does, we do need to breathe. It really stands for being authentic in everything that you do. Looking at how you can inspire others to be the best they can be, to look and unlock their capabilities, and most importantly, to be relatable. So authenticity, inspiration, relatability, all comes together as simple as air. And when you breathe air and when you act with air, you are a superhero. You are unstoppable. So I'm going to ask everybody right now to just take a deep breath of air. Look at your authenticity. Look at who you are as a person. You are exactly who you are supposed to be. You're incredible and amazing, probably weird and strange. You're creative, probably awkward, and that's amazing. Look at how you inspire people. In fact, so many times, women don't realize the impact that they have on others. You inspire every person that you come in contact with, whether you know it or not. If you opened the door for somebody today, if you held the elevator for somebody today, or if you even wished someone a happy birthday today, you could have just turned their most disastrous day into the best day of their life. You recognized them for who they were. You appreciated them. You gave them the ability to go on. And in many cases, we don't see the issues and challenges other people are facing. You inspire people just by being yourself and by being relatable. I actually hate introducing myself based on my title or my job. I hate introducing myself and talking about how many years experience I've had in the industry, first because it makes me feel really old, but secondly because that's not who I am. I went to a networking session once and you didn't put your name or your title on your name tag. You put down 3 things: your favorite color, the place you would most like to go if you could go on vacation anywhere, and the car you would love to drive if you could drive any car. And I watched CEOs having a phenomenal time networking with interns. I watched lower level associates actually creating relationships and sharing contact information with senior managers. I watched people connect very authentically and in relatable ways based on similar passions. And that's the way the world should be, because especially for us as women, we're up against so many challenges. We rely on our networks to help support us and get us through. But when we rely on networks and act in a facetious manner, then our authenticity doesn't come through. We're not superheroes. We're normal people, or people who can't be trusted, or who are second guessed, or people that don't create followings and don't have the support of the community there when they need it. And for anybody who's on this call, men or women alike, you'll know that there's a time in your professional career when you need help from your community. It actually happens a lot more than you would think. So if you live your life as a superhero, and if you build your career with air, being authentic, inspirational, and relatable, there's nothing that you can't get through. There's nothing that can stop you from becoming successful. And especially inside organizations, the leaders will see your talents for what they are: true, authentic talents that shine through with passion. And passion drives me as much as it drives all of you. It's one of the reasons that I'm at Daily Pay. Our mission is to create a financial system that works for everybody. What kind of company sets a mission so big that they're going to rewrite invisible rules of money? A company that believes in being authentic, inspiring others, and creating something that's relatable. So how perfect is it that I had the opportunity to come and work with this incredible company and organization to set the stage for such a powerful future that doesn't just inspire a few people around me, but inspires millions and millions of working Americans? It's unbelievable. When you set your mind on being a superhero, when you look to the future, and when you do it authentically, the world opens its doors for you. Look, I'm a female executive. I have been in this business for a long time. I grew up, like many of you on the call, that we're in a male-dominated society. I know we still are. It's a little better now, but I grew up going to business meetings and having the old boys club stop talking when the woman walked in. I have been discounted in front of large audiences many times because I have blonde hair, so I must not be that smart. I have been invited to businessmen's hotel rooms for inappropriate reasons and have had to stand my ground knowing that these are superiors that I would need to see in the office the next day. All of that I've been able to not just survive through, but thrive through by maintaining my authenticity, by increasing the way that I relate to other people at work and building a network that allows me to find support when I need it, to find direction when I need it, and most importantly, look for every opportunity to inspire and help others. So my message for all of you today is to know that you are a superhero. It doesn't matter how new you are in your career or how long you've been working. You're doing something incredible every moment that you spend at work or with your family. You're inspiring others to be better, to be able to get through that next step in their life, to be able to take the next step in their career. Do it with authenticity. Be yourself. Be weird. Be funny. Have blonde hair. Have green hair. Be relatable and appreciate the fact that even in the world's biggest company, and the scariest looking CEO goes home every night and puts on regular clothes just like you and I. They have regular challenges just like you and I. They fight over the remote control to figure out what to watch on TV next with their significant other. If they have kids, they get the phone call. Can I get some more money? Can you help me with this? I have a challenge. Pick me up tonight at 8. They deal with the same challenges we do. Their pipes break. Their clothes get dirty. Everybody is the same. Relate to people on an individual basis and be who you are, and the world will open itself up to you and allow you to be the superhero inside you. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share this today with all of you, and I hope you feel very empowered.
Thank you, Jeannie. That was wonderful. It's really nice to get an insight into how you think about the world, and I feel like I want to go out and get myself a cake right away. Very inspiring. Thank you. Listen, I have a little question for you. I'm asking for a friend. So in those moments when you're taken aback, you do have those kind of, you feel crushed because you're being defined in a way that means that it takes you back to a moment when you feel like you can't be authentic or you have to conform in some way. What's the narrative in your head that helps you get past that? Because I'm sure me, like many others, I always think, oh, I wish I thought about that or said that in the moment, and I didn't. So
Yeah.
what's your go-to?
There's two things that I go to, and the first one's my dad. So my dad was a very successful business executive, and I'll never forget one day I walked into his bedroom and he had on knee socks, white nerdy knee socks with sandals. And I just made fun of him for about 10 minutes and said he was the biggest nerd that I've ever met. And I'm too embarrassed to go outside with him. And, the next day he was meeting with Sophia Loren. And someone said to me, "Oh, wow, your dad." And I said, "Yeah, he's the biggest nerd, don't you think?" And all of these business people were looking at me. And it's funny because ever since then, I've never seen an executive as anything else other than my nerdy dad. So I would say think about people as what they do at home. A lot of people have trouble public speaking. They say think about people in the audience in their underwear. I would say think about the nerdiest person you know, or look online. Go Google the most horrible images of celebrities. The people without the makeup on when you see Cameron Diaz when she actually has wrinkles in that strange picture. And find somebody that you can make relatable to who you are. And that actually is a thought that will get you through it. But the second thought is my daughter, my youngest daughter, was adopted from Russia. She was born 4 months premature. She was put on a stove of warm water for 3 days while her 16-year-old sister walked into the town to get help to bring her to a hospital. If she would have been any older, she would have fallen into the flames and burned or fallen off the stove. She lived on goat's milk for 3 days, was in the hospital for 9 months before she was able to be adopted. She came to the US with no language skills at all. Her hands were significantly larger than the rest of her body because she was so malnourished. And today she is a cadet in a military college in South Carolina. She is a almost straight A student, and she is a force to be reckoned with. So when I don't think about my nerdy dad, I think about this child who had everything in the world coming against her and was able to push it all off, learn how to speak English as a second language, and just become a powerhouse of true authenticity. And I just love her as my inspiration every single moment. When things get really hard, I think, what would Christina do? I don't do exactly that, but I then adjust it to how I should react in this situation.
Oh, I love that. It's very inspiring. And the power of what encouragement, support, and opportunity can do for you, right, as well. And just brilliant. Wonderful. Thank you.